who is the villain of college basketball right now? Is there a villain? It's not really Coach K because Kentucky hasn't been relevant enough in recent years for it to be him. You got a guy in Dan Hurley who is completely demonstrable on the sidelines, who is a complete lunatic when it comes to the ref, who loves to curse people out while the cameras are zoomed in on his face while he's yelling at the refs, who plays for a program that has, I'll agree with Ed Cooley here, a relatively arrogant and spoiled fan base that can be very annoying online, and a program that has enough history and enough like natural rivals from old Big East and current Big East for people to hate them. If UConn can become, I don't want to say become a dynasty, but if they become like nationally relevant, consistently top 10, making Final Fours every couple of years, could Dan Hurley be the villain that college basketball needs? Tyler, what do you think?
Boy,
you got to have someone to root against. Everyone can hate the Yankees. You do, hate the Cowboys,
but I think he has a little more personality than Coach K. And I think Coach K, one thing that you talk about why he's such a good villain is because he kind of cut people out. No one really got an insight to what he does outside of basketball. I don't know what he does to enjoy life outside of basketball. And I feel like Hurley has a little more, like he's just an emotional person. And honestly, when you say early in the year when he was calling that ref an effing clown, I mean, you can see people relating to that when officials make bad calls. It's like me yelling at the fans or yelling at the refs at a Carolina game. But
you yelling at the ref? No, come on, Tyler. You would yell
the whole game. That's the best thing about being done is I can just go in there and just hammer them.
What's the craziest thing you said to a ref this? I know you went to a bunch of games. What's the craziest thing you said to a ref? And
nothing.
Better question: heard. Could they hear you? Could they hear you when you said it?
Maybe during the Duke game because I had a front row seat. I was just let me see here. I don't say anything too bad, to be honest. I'm not like Hurley. Hurley goes in, which I like. I don't think he has. He doesn't have that cold, dark side. And, you see him smile. You can see him, really happy after games and wins. And I didn't really see Kay get too emotionally happy after big-time wins. It always kind of felt like he was right there, but you could tell when he was really pissed. I can't think of a hardcore villain right now. I really can't. I want to say Mick Cronin from UCLA just because – he kind of reminds me of a mafia guy, the way he dresses. He gets real emotional. He can go at refs too.
He reminds me of a Bond villain. Like if you watch a James Bond film, just some little guy out here that's got too much power and too much money. No, Greg, I see you laughing. No,
I think an Austin Powers villain would be more outright than a Bond villain, but. Hey, listen, you already heard my kind thoughts about UCLA. I'm not here to diss them. Here's my take on the villain thing, Rob. I honestly think both Danny Hurley and his brother are oddly like too cute to be villains. Like there's a little bit of an element of charmingness to their asshattery, right? I think like Tyler's kind of saying in more nuanced terms than what I'm saying. Like when they do something really stupid and make a fool of themselves, like as an objective college basketball fan, I'm like, oh, did you see that? That was kind of cool. Like you can't have your villain do that. I would never say anything that Coach K did was ever cool. He was just great. And I wanted him to lose at every single turn. That's what you need. And I would never feel that way about the Hurleys, specifically Danny Hurley at all. The other element here, which is just the sad truth, is there are enough really high profile coaches who have done some really despicable human things in the last few years that it's going to be hard for someone who's just a basketball coach to be the villain in this sport right now.
Yeah, but it's so easy to hate people that have done things that are hateable. You know what I mean? Like Hurley hasn't really done anything that is hateable. And actually, like the funniest thing about him is if you talk to him off the court, he's like very, very kind of soft-spoken and very sarcastic and very what's the word, like when you make fun of yourself, self-deprecating. He's like a really funny guy, and I don't know how many coaches there are that I would like that you would put on the list higher than them that you'd probably want to go get a beer with. Like I'm sure Huggins, Andy Kennedy, Frank Martin would be above him. Mike Boynton would be above him. But like he's up there on that list because he's like, when you get him going, like he's a really funny, like laid back dude. It's just you get him on the court and like the ref can throw the jump ball wrong and he's just sitting there.
Yeah.
Today's episode is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy, the easiest place to play college basketball pick'em, where you can get a little extra sweat during March Madness and win real cash prizes simply by picking player stats in this weekend's games. In pick'em, all you do is predict whether a player will go higher or lower on Underdog's projected totals, whether that's points, rebounds, whatever. For example, if you're like me and you think Zach Edey is going to go nuts in this tournament, pick higher on his points projection, add up to 4 more picks, and if you hit them all, you can win 20 times your money on a single game. Underdog's slick mobile app is easy enough that dummies like Jeff Goodman have even figured it out. So go to underdogfantasy.com or download the app and use the code FIELD, FIELD, and Underdog will match your deposit up to $100. Now is the time to get in on the madness. So remember, underdogfantasy.com, promo code FIELD.